Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Ta-Risai. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you've watched my previous videos, you'll know that this is Conveyancing 101. I have got an introduction video. We've also covered instructing solicitors and sales memorandum. That's sort of two in one. We've also covered draft contracts. In this video today, we are going to be discussing searches. So, as soon as you've issued instructions to your solicitors, even before the contracts have been received as a buyer, you may find that there's a lot of pressure on you to pay for searches in advance. The reason for this is because when solicitors are then requesting searches on your behalf, they have to pay for those straight away. It is a disbursement. It's not money that comes to the solicitors, it goes to whoever is actually providing the searches for you. So it is one of those costs that will be required straight away, not at the end. If, for example, you're a cash buyer, you could decide that you don't want to have any searches. For example, you've lived in the area, you're absolutely happy, you know everything, or you've had searches in nearby property and you're happy with it. If you have a mortgage lender, you will have to have your searches done. It's mandatory. Most lenders will insist on searches. Some of them may not request all of them, but they will want at the very minimum the local search and the water and drainage search. So those two. So the local search, just to clarify, is probably the most important. As I said, it will normally it will show any sort of planning permissions that affects the property. So if, for example, if the property has had some works done to it and planning permission was issued, or building regulations was issued, then that would come up in the searches. It does cover a lot of other aspects, but it also covers like things like roads, if the roads are adopted. When I say adopted, it means are the roads looked after by the council or the local council really, or not. It might be that they're private roads, so you'd want to know this, because if it's a private road, there may be an element where you are also party to the maintenance of it, of which it may be that you have to pay a management company, for example, who maintains that road on the behalf of everyone that uses it, and have to actually pay a service charge towards it. Or it may just be that you're responsible to maintain a certain part of the road. So if there's any drainages or anything underneath that road, that would be your responsibility. The water and drainage search kind of ties in well with the local search, as it will tell you mostly who the actual water provider is, and also with regards to the actual drainage system itself and the water provision to the property, whether it's who actually looks after it. So in this case, is it looked after by the council or the water authority, so to speak, or not? Are there any manhole covers in your property or not? Do you need any build-over agreements? So for example, if you've got any pipes running through the middle of your back garden, it might mean that you would need to get a build-over agreement before you can, for example, extend the property over those pipes to allow them access to the drains, even if there was an outbuilding there or something. So it's things like that would be covered. There are other searches which you may want or you may be required to have. So the environmental search is probably the third most popular one, whereby it will tell you if the land that the property is situated upon is contaminated land, or if there's any landfill sites nearby. Other searches are flood searches. So for example, if you're near some type of stream or anything like that, or river, you probably want a flood search to see when last the property or the area was flooded. Again, this may be a requirement from insurers. They want to know if you're prone to flooding, stuff like that. So that's quite important. Other searches could be like the planning search, whereby it just tells you like potential developments in the area. There's the chance of repair search, Chance of repair liability is basically if you live by, like for example, an old church. Back in the day, the law was if you live near an old church or a church, doesn't necessarily have to be old, the people in the area would contribute towards the upkeep and maintenance of that church. It doesn't matter whether you go to that church, whether you believe in God or not, you still have to pay for it. There was an old case whereby someone didn't even know this, and they ended up having to sell their house in order just to cover the expenses of a church. So it is quite important. Most people just take out an indemnity insurance which just covers you. So should you ever be called upon to contribute towards chance of repair liability, then your indemnity insurance will come. But some people do actually like to do the search in itself. Up to you. Just so you know what the chances are. But it's probably cheaper just to get the chance of repair liability indemnity insurance. These are sort of the common searches. It may be that depending on your area, there may be more searches that you're required or that you'd want to do. Most of the time, if you're sort of purchasing individual searches, it turns out to be a bit more expensive. Most law firms have sort of set fees if you order a bulk amount of searches rather than individual ones, or as a cash buyer you might decide that you don't want any or you want one particular one. But as I said, if you're purchasing with the lender, with the mortgage lender, then you would most definitely 100% be required to at the very least have the local and the water and drainage search, potentially even the environmental search. But yeah, so this is all something that your solicitors again will cover for you, and you do have to pay for it up front. So as a buyer, get that money paid to your solicitors, get those searches requested. So push your solicitors, ask them if they have ordered searches already. If not, push them to get that done as soon as they receive the draft contract, because it can take between 1 week to 6, 7, 8 weeks for the searches to come back. And this is something that you can't proceed without in most cases, especially if there's a lender involved. Hope this makes sense. If it doesn't, feel free to let me know in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in my next video where I'll be discussing inquiries. Thank you for watching. Bye.